Hello guys, my name is Hlumelo, and then I'll be doing hypothesis test for a proportion. In our blue beautiful module is in page 127, exercise 7.4. It reads as follows: a survey of 200 executives revealed that 115 of them would rather leave messages with a voicemail system than with a person. Test at a 5% level of significance. They claim that more than half of the executives prefer a voicemail system to leave a message with a person. So what I did, I collected the data from the question. We're given the X. The X, it's a kind of the number of people that prefer to leave the voicemail in a system rather than a person, and then we have N, which is the number, the total number of the executives, and then we have alpha. The alpha that we're given, it is 5% of the level of significance. It's 5%, and then 5% is 0.5, and then the problem is that when it was not clearly stated that the pi is 0.5, but in the question they say that they claim that more than half of all the executives prefer a voicemail system to leave the message with the person. Remember, guys, we're dealing with a proportion, and then you know that the all probabilities add up to 1, right? And then when we want the half of 1, it's 0.5. Then 0.5 will become our pi. Okay, so, and then since now we're dealing with a proportion, we'll use this formula. Z is equal to the p hat minus the pi naught, and then over square root of pi naught minus 1 pi naught over n. And then we start with our first step. Our first step states that we have to state our hypothesis. So we'll say that our h naught is equal to pi, and then our pi is 0.5, right? And then our h1, which is it's kind of the opposite of what we are saying here. So it will be the pi, it will be greater than 0.5. So they say more than the half, so more than the 0.5. And then we go to step 2, our test. So our test is already here. This is step 2. So we just state the formula that we're going to use when we're calculating our step 4. So we can skip step 2 since it's already here. Go straight to step 3. Okay. In step 3, I like to draw like a picture. So they say that it's greater. So let's assume this is 0.5. So they say it's greater, meaning that we're kind of going this side. So we'll reject if our z observed it's greater than z of alpha. And remember that z of alpha is z of 0.05. So can you check z of 0.05 in our z table?
Okay, so
It's not there.
So you have to use.
Yeah, since we don't have the z of 0.05 in our table, in our z table, we'll kind of find the inverse. I don't know if it's safe to call it that. So we'll find the z of 1 minus the 0.05, and then we'll get to the z of 0.095. Right.
0.95. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, that's correct. Then we'll look for z of 0.095 in our z table.
It's 1.645.
Okay, so it's what?
1.645.
1.645. So here we're saying that if our z observed it's greater than 1.645. So we go to step 4. Step 4 is where we calculate our Z observed. I used to call it ZOBs. So so we'll look for ZOBs. Okay, so Z is equal to so also we are not given the p hat, right? So in order to calculate the p hat is usually x. X is the value of the it's the number of people that is the number of people that prefer the voicemail, to leave the voicemail in a system rather than a person, over n. N is the total number of the sample, so it's 115 over 200.
Which is 0.575.
0.575.
Please.
Okay, so this is our p hat. So we'll go and calculate our Z. Since now we have our p hat, we have our alpha, so we have our pi, and then we have our n. So we can use our formula. So the p naught, it's the p hat, it's 0.575 minus our pi, which is 0.5, over the square root of 0.51 minus 0.5 over 200, and then the Z is I think it would be 2.121.
Yeah.
It's 2.121. So we come back to step 3. Here's our step 3. We come back to step 3. In step 3 we say that our Z observed is greater than 1.645. So it's actually greater than 1.645 because it's 2.121 and then it's greater than 1.645. So basically this is our distribution. We say that it's here we have 1.645 and then 2.121 lies in this region, and this region is our rejection region. It's our rejection region. So basically we reject H naught. So you can just put it in small brackets and say reject. And then you go to step 5. We go to step 5. In step 5 we calculate our p value. Remember, in a Z table we'll get an exact value of p. So our p value, since we say that Z observed must be greater than Z, here in a probability we'll do the opposite, or we'll contradict step 3. We'll say that the Z must be now greater than the Z observed. And then our p value and then our Z observed was 2.121. So can you please check our Z? Oh, sorry. It's supposed to be less than, right? So in Z table we work with less than. So here we have to convert this to less than. So it will be 1 minus the probability that Z it's less than 1. It's less than 2.121. Then you can go and check our Z in our Z table.
So it's 0.98300.
0.98300.
300.
So 1 minus the number.
1 minus.
Is it not 0.017?
Yeah, 0.017.
0.1.
0.017.
Okay, so this is our p-value. This is our p-value, and then we have to compare our p-value with our pi. 0.017, it's less than 0.5, so we are still rejecting. Okay, you can write it here. We're still rejecting, right? And then you go to step 6, which you conclude, and then I think we know the lyrics by now. We start with since. Since z observed is greater than z of 0. It was 0.5, which is equal to it was I erased the thing, but I think it was 1.647. Yeah, and then our p-value is less than alpha, which is 0.05, and then therefore we reject H naught. Right? And then when we reject, meaning that we have like insufficient evidence. We have sufficient evidence to reject. Okay.
And just on that value we said 1.47, it's actually 1.45. It's actually 1.645.
1.645.
45. Yes.
Okay. Okay, we have. You said we have what?
Sufficient evidence.
Sufficient evidence. Okay, we go back to our question, which the question said that we must test that the half of the executives prefer voicemail system to leave their messages. So we kind of support that exactly the half of the executives prefer to leave their voice note in a voicemail system. Sorry?
Are we not supposed to state that more than half?
Oh yeah.
Because we've rejected it.
Yeah. Yeah, more than half. Any question? Yeah, done.